Hi, in this video I'm going to show you how to grow your microgreens. There's enough materials in your package to grow 2 batches. The first thing to do is to separate punnets. There's 2 punnets inside of each other, and for now we'll just be using one. And then you put 3 of the soil pellets into a bowl, and you'll also need a packet of seeds. The next thing you need is about 200 millilitres of water, and you add that to the soil pellets, just pour it over, and you leave them for about 10 minutes. Okay, I've left my soil pellets in the water for 10 minutes, and for this next bit you might want to wear a glove. Because what we do now is, the water hasn't completely absorbed, so we just mash everything up together. So yeah, that's what you're aiming for. The next job is to put the soil in the punnet. So just pick it up and put it in. Of course, you give your bowl a really good wash after you've finished with it. And then the punnet, we're going to make the soil surface as even as we can, and we're going to press it down with our fingers. We want a nice even surface. Okay, that's good enough. Then you throw your gloves away, and if you haven't been wearing gloves, please be sure to give your hands a really good wash. Now you get your seed packet, and the seed packet has got in it the perfect amount of seeds for a punnet. It's all ready to go, so you just open the packet and then very carefully you sprinkle the seeds as evenly as you can. Oops. The seeds we're doing today are radish. Oops, I dropped a seed. If they're not so even, you can just use your finger just to even them out a little bit. No need to get too carried away. Okay, so that's the seed sown, and then you press down just gently to put the seeds into the growing mix. That'll help the germination. They'll be surrounded by the moist soil. Right, and then you can close up your punnet. You can then put your closed punnet in a place where you can keep an eye on the microgreens every day. You'll want to have a look every day by opening the lid to see how things are progressing. It is a good idea to put a plate underneath your punnet, just so that your surfaces don't get damaged by any water that runs out of the punnet. Today is day 2, and I'm just checking on the progress of the microgreens. Not a huge amount to see. The seeds have swelled up a little bit. They're not quite ready to germinate yet. Other varieties of seed will look a little bit different to this. I've just checked, and the soil is nice and moist. A good thing to do is, if you have a spray mister, is just to give the top a very light misting. It's just so that the seeds stay nice and moist, as that helps them germinate. If you don't have a spray mister, you could use a tablespoon and very carefully drizzle over a couple of tablespoons of water, but no more than that. You don't want to saturate it too much. And when you've finished, remember to close the lid up again. That will help retain the moisture. As you can see, these seeds are just beginning to sprout a little bit. So I'll just give them another tiny squirt with water and cover them back up. And that's it for today. Here's what the microgreens are looking like today. They've started sprouting, and you can see furry little white bits. Those are actually root hairs. They're more obvious on radish microgreens than any of the other varieties, and it's an absolutely normal part of the whole germination process. All we're going to do again today is squirt with a little bit of water and then cover them up till tomorrow. Look at the microgreens today. The first ones are growing nicely. So today's job is the same as previous days. We're just going to squirt them lightly with a little bit of water. And we are going to cover them up again, just to give the ones that haven't sprouted yet a chance to catch up. Ta-da! And as you can see, most of them have germinated very nicely, got nice long stalks on them. I should add that radish microgreens are the fastest growing varieties, so the other varieties will take longer than this. And it also depends very much on the time of year and the temperature, etc., as to how long it actually takes. So what we do now is we leave the punnet uncovered. So far it hasn't mattered too much where your punnet has been placed, but from now on you want to put it somewhere where it gets some light, but preferably indirect light, so it's not getting fully blasted by the sun. Keep the punnet on the plate to protect your surfaces if it's indoors. If it's outdoors, you'll want to put it somewhere where it's protected from birds and other animals, because birds and other animals love little seedlings. So just something to bear in mind. So find a good spot for it, and then from now on you'll need to give them a little water every day, either with the spray mister, or if it's really hot and sunny, with some tablespoons or a pouring jug or whatever you happen to have. Keep an eye on the soil, and if it dries out, you might need, if it's very hot, you might need to move to watering twice a day, and once in the morning and once in the evening. It is a matter of watching and observing and watering accordingly. Alright, here's how the radish microgreens are doing. They've grown a bit since yesterday. They've still got a little bit more to go. They're not ready yet. There is one random green running with the reds. You do get that from time to time. That guy will still be perfectly edible. And I'm just going to give the microgreens a bit of a water to make sure they don't dry out, and we'll check on them again tomorrow. The radish microgreens are getting close now. We're just going to let them develop a little bit more, give them another water today, and we'll check back on them tomorrow. Look at that. Today we have a nice lush looking punnet of radish microgreens, and these little babies are ready to eat now. So what you do is you get a pair of scissors and you snip them above the soil, give them a rinse and add them to your food. You can put them in your sandwiches, wraps, on an omelette, in a salad, add them to a smoothie, whatever takes your fancy, or just use them as a garnish. These have grown really nice and fast. Radish microgreens are the fastest growing microgreens. How long they take does depend on the temperature, including the nighttime temperature and the time of year. So yours might be taking a little bit longer than that, and if it's a different variety it'll take a little bit longer again. And yeah, that's how you grow microgreens. Enjoy the fruits of your labour. And you don't have to use your microgreens all at once. You can either just snip some of them or snip the whole lot, that's up to you. If you're going to just have a little bit, just remember to keep giving them a bit of water every day.